I'm standing in front of the brand new Jerome Township Fire Department number 1, and today we're going to be getting a tour. So let's head on inside and meet the fire chief. All right, I'm here at the front door of the Jerome Township Fire Department number 1. This is a brand new building that just got done a couple months ago, and we're going to have a tour today by Jerry Cole, who is the fire chief. So I'll let you take it away now.
Okay, first off, I'd like to thank you for coming over and doing this. So we're pretty proud of the station and want as many people to see it as we can get. We had an open house back in May and had a pretty good turnout. This is the office wing of the facilities. This area right here, the building is designed for 20 to 50 years out in the future. This area here would rather use our training time for routine classes like material safety data sheets and bloodborne pathogens and things like that. They'll be able to take those online here, so we can better utilize our training time for the hands-on experience people need. The first office is our deputy chief and battalion chief. This office is mine. This office is used by the 4 lieutenants, and the reason for all the boxes and different things you see sitting there right now, we just received a $9,800 grant we applied for PPE materials for the COVID virus. So they're checking that in. They'll be properly stored away out in the storage areas, but for right now they're still there. So we're gonna go in the men's locker room, check that out. Altogether in our department there's 22 people, 4 of whom are women. So this is the first time we've ever had a true locker room with lockers. We had a couple showers before in the men's locker room, but the facility is much better. And the women's facility, the old Station 1 we just replaced, was built in 1974. There was no women in the fire service at that time. In fact, my sister was about 5 years after we moved into that station. She was the first firefighter in Jerome Township. And so there's no women's facilities over there. So we took a very small bathroom that was literally 4 by 4, and that was a women's bathroom. So if you were claustrophobic at all, you couldn't go in there. So this is the men's. We have a small laundry area for clothes and towels and different things like that from the locker room. The women's. Oops. Jordan, can you hit that switch right there behind you? Perfect, thank you. So as you can see, it's a little bit smaller than the men's locker room, but at least they have their own shower now. They got something bigger than a 4 by 4. We've got 7 lockers for them. Like I said, currently we have 4 women in the department, 3 of whom are paramedics, and 1 just came over in June from the cadet program, ended up being a full-time firefighter. We're going to go right on down to the conference meeting room area. We also have men and women's public bathrooms. We plan on hosting more, as soon as COVID winds down, a little bit more safety related topics, presentations for the general public. So we've already used the building a number of times for COVID vaccines, blood drives, different things like that. We've got a flu vaccine with the county health department coming up pretty quick. So this is our meeting room. It's about a third bigger than our old one. It was pretty cramped in the old one. Plus we have a smart TV for doing presentations and trainings, different things like that. I have to say one thing, the foosball table was donated by one of the firefighters, just to have that out there. Our old fire station, we really didn't have a kitchen. It's kind of interesting that we use respirators a lot with our self-contained breathing apparatuses, and in our old fire station, we had nowhere to clean those other than the kitchen and the break area. So we'd clean our air packs and our respirators right at the same place where we ate pizza and stuff like that after structure fires. So this is a quantum leap ahead of where we were. So the building, the dimensions of the building is 150 by 80. The apparatus bay itself is 80 by 80. Before we go any further, we'll stop by the radio room. So we are always dispatched by Central Dispatch out of Midland at the Law Enforcement Center. And but during severe weather, this room would be staffed, and we will take our own calls from Central to kind of alleviate some of their radio traffic. So it's nothing spectacular, typical thing: phone, radio, manuals. So like I was saying, the building itself is 150 by 80. The apparatus bay is 80 by 80. We now have a separate room. I was just talking about, we had to clean our air packs and respirators and things like that in the kitchen area of our old fire station. Now we have a dedicated area where we hang the respirators up to dry, work on the air packs, things like that. Anytime we're in an air pack, you're in a structure fire or some sort of fire, the carcinogenics are very well known now that are in structure fires. So taking something like that in a break area where people eat and things, it's a bad program. This room is basically our medical supplies. We are a licensed medical provider. Medical first response is our highest level. We stock all the usual stuff. We have a fogger that we use for disinfecting our trucks and meeting rooms and things like that. It's like everybody now that we're in our new times. Decontamination room, if somebody does get exposed to something, we can shower them right out here and things. We have a small workbench area with maintenance supplies, different things like that. We do obviously a lot of our own minor maintenance. The apparatus bay is something we're very proud of. I mean, we actually have room to work. When the old Station 1 was built, our biggest engine was 26 feet long. 436 is about 41 feet long. So we went from an engine that took up about half the floor space to this one that you didn't have hardly any room to walk behind it. So that was a huge help. Plus, if we came back from a structure fire in the wintertime or in adverse weather conditions, we had to work outside to put the hose back in the truck. Now we have room to put our trucks back together inside. During the tours, somebody asked me too, so when that station was built in 74, and your biggest engine was 26 feet long, why are they so big now? Look at your houses. I mean, the norm back then was 800, 900, 1,000 square feet was a big house. Everything's changed. We just bought an extractor for wash and turnout gear after a fire. Like we talked, there's a lot of carcinogenics in a structure fire now. So we just bought an extractor. It's like a big heavy duty wash machine, but it actually sucks the particles right out of the material. So when we come back from a fire, that extractor, that wash machine is $5,000. The dryer to go with it was $5,000. We elected instead to work with another area fire department and build these units. So we just hang our wet turnout gear on those, and that's how we dry them now. But we're trying to get more into a health conscious, cancer preventing mode. So, talk a little briefly about our trucks. Our Suburban probably sees more runs than anything else. 60% of our runs are medical. That is our primary response unit for medicals. The one-ton utility truck, we'll use it for brush fires, but it's for some of the driveways in the township where we can't get up in anymore for any of our big trucks. The heavy rescue right in front of us is the one that rolls on all car accidents. And if we have enough staff available, it'll roll on house fires and different things like that. That's our primary vehicle for doing auto extrication. The first fire engine you see, 421, is the primary engine out. It holds 1,000 gallons of water. That is kind of the Swiss Army knife of the whole group. It also has extrication tools on it for car accidents. 436 is a pumper tender. By tender, that means it hauls water as well. A substantial amount of water. It holds 2,500 gallons. Plus there's a portable tank on the side of it that we can set up. So if we get in a remote location where we don't have fire hydrants, we can actually truck water in and support the firefighting efforts. But as far as the new station, that's pretty much it. One of the things we're also working on, if you look up on the mezzanine, we've got a weight machine that was donated to us. We're in the process of trying to get money for an elliptic and a treadmill focuses a little bit more on the cardiovascular and strength issues for our fire department. So,
No more fire poles?
no more fire poles. That's a thing of the past. So that's about the inside of the building.
And this is where you keep all your turnout gear over here?
Yep. Yep. And so you have two sets of turnout gear, and as you can see over here, you see the cover-offs. So the turnout gear, by the time you get structural firefighting turnout gear and air pack on, you got about 60 pounds of extra stuff. 40 pounds is the boots, pants, and coat. So that's obviously not something you want to use in a wildland fire situation, woods fire, something like that. So that's why the coveralls, we'll use those. And otherwise, I don't think you could make much more than about a half hour wearing that heavy turnout gear. Our boat, primary focused on river rescue anymore, obviously. And we've got what we call Gumby suits for entry into ice rescue. And we also have summertime rescue suits.
So back over a year ago now, do you remember what you were doing the day that the dams broke and how you responded?
I do. Actually, that whole event started on about the Friday before because we were anticipating heavy rains, and flooding's always been an issue in the Sanford area. And the dam failure is something that we had a plan in place for through the Midland County Emergency Services. There's a lot of actual engineering work done on that plan. And but whenever we start getting heavy rains that time of year, we pay pretty close attention, monitor the situation. So we'd had a number of meetings, phone calls, different things like that. And on Monday, we were watching it closer. Then about 10 o'clock, I got a phone call that they were going to activate the dam failure plan. I always struggle saying that. It sounds kind of weird, but so I brought all of our officers from the fire department over to my house at 11 o'clock. We did a Zoom meeting. By 11:35, the tones dropped for the fire department for everybody to report to the station. We activated the plan. We went door to door, what the plan called for. And all together, there's approximately 700 houses that we cover in that plan. And so we went door to door. We got on the road about midnight. We got done with the door to door about 6 o'clock. So we had a good benchmark that it takes 6 hours to do the door to door. The next morning, I went home, went to bed. I was back up at 7:30, and we were going through a number of different updates and information. About 4 o'clock, I was asked to join Sheriff Scott Stevens, City Fire Chief Chris Coughlin, Homer Township Fire Chief John Hanson, and Edendville Township Fire Chief Roger Dufresne up at the Edendville Dam to talk to a group of engineers, reps from Boyce Hydro, contractors, and others about different options. It was during that meeting, about 5:30-ish, that the dam actually started to fail. So we implemented the evacuation plan. This time we were doing a motorized PAs, air horns, sirens, those sort of things.
So somebody we know?
The dam has broke. Please evacuate. The dam has broke. Water is coming fast.
We figured we'd be able to do it in about 2 hours. And we did. And it was amazing to me that, because we reviewed the plans a number of times prior to the actual failure, of course. And the plan called for about less than 2 hours for the water to reach Sanford. And it was pretty much spot on. I'm amazed how accurate that plan was. So yep, we got the evacuations done. The flooding started to occur. We had to move some people out of areas, had to help people that stayed a little too long. Did a number of different rescues for people that were stranded. And by that time, it was dark. There was 4 of us that stayed at the fire station all night. Myself, Lieutenant Jerry Turner, Lieutenant Aaron Boxey, and Jordan Ortez stayed at this station. Our deputy chief stayed at our station 2 and monitored that situation over there. So then Wednesday, of course, everything was flooded out. We did some drones over Sanford. Thursday, we were able to get back in and start assessing the damage. So, yeah, that's Thursday afternoon. We were joined by the Michigan National Guard, 47 guardsmen, about a dozen firefighters from Coleman, And we did a door-to-door wellness checks and assessing hazardous situations. So that was about the first week of the flood.
Okay, we are now at Jerome Township Fire Department number 2, and Jerry's going to give us a quick tour of this building as well.
Okay, this tour won't take very long, but before we get started on that, earlier we were talking about the flood and some of the events leading up to it and things like that. I want to make sure to recognize the men and women of the fire department. We just had a major turnover in membership on May 1st, and the flood hit on May 19th. There was 16 members, 17 including me, and everybody on both the days that we did the evacuations knew what their jobs were. They carried them out professionally. And when we talk about no loss of life or anything else in Jerome Township or anywhere else with the flood, not only was there no loss of life, there was no serious traffic accidents with the fire department involvement, no damage to vehicles or anything else like that. And when I look at all the area they had to cover and all the people they had to get to, and being up all night the night before, because we did the door-to-door evacuation, and people went to work, they came home, we went right into the evacuation mode the next day. So I just can't say how phenomenal it was, the job they did. Dolores Porty from the village recognized them with a letter of appreciation. Annette Glenn last year gave them a certification of recognition from Lansing. And this past Monday, we just received one from the Congress, John Monar. Each member that was involved in that evacuation that night received a formal recognition. So still today, I just can't believe the amazing job they did. Yeah. So on with the tour. This is Station 2. We keep a pumper over this side of the lake for a couple of different reasons. If there's any sort of problem with the road, we have the unit here. Plus, the people on this side of the lake get a little bit of a break on their homeowner's insurance having this engine so far from their house. So this is the only unit we keep here at this time. The enclosed trailer on the other side belongs to the Midland County Health Department, and that's full of cots and different things like that if they have to set up a shelter. So like the Monday night of the flood events, 2 of our firefighters, Denise and Sandy, came up along with 2 of the guys, got that trailer, took it up to junior high and set up the temporary shelter. So that's how we do that. This station right now, we just had consumers up here and do an energy survey on what we can do to improve the heating and cooling and electrical of this building. In 2021, we plan on starting a renovation project because it's getting a little rough of the years of service. There's going to be some work done on the ambulance station as well as next door. So, but this is off Station 2.
So you said usually there would be an ambulance here too?
Actually, it's on the other side.
Okay.
There's other overhead doors. What EMS calls Station 9, and 603 is typically there with 2 paramedics. So that gives you the coverage. Station 8 is in Midland, Station 9 is here in Jerome, and EMS Station 10 is in Coleman. So.
Do you know about how much the rebuilding here in this station is going to cost?
Right now, we're earmarking about $50,000 of our budget for renovations, including fixing the drywall where it's sagging. There's a lot of drywall damage, different spots, just over the years of getting wet and different things like that. So we've got another door to put in, change some of the exterior doors. And we're trying to get the building more energy efficient as well. And we'd like to seal the floor so we don't always have the dust and dirt problem that we have today. So make it look a little bit more like our Station 1.
Yeah. Yeah, the brand new one over there.
Yeah.
So where did all the money come for that rebuilt Station 1?
Okay, and that was a new building. The old Station 1's about a quarter mile up the road from it. So in 2016, when we started that project, first we did the design, what we absolutely needed, what we might need for 20 to 50 years out in the future. And that building's actually set up so it can have a 5th bay put right on it with very little renovation work done to it. So we can expand that station and there won't be any need to do a new one or a lot of extensive work. So as we went through the design process and we went in and we had the voters supported another half a mill. So that's what helped fund that station. We got a loan through the USDA, we took out a bond. And the USDA loaned us money. 3 Rivers was a construction company that built it. We moved into it mid-February. So, and can't thank the people of Jerome Township enough for that, because The old station had outlived its useful life for us. It was just too small. There wasn't any quarters. We couldn't keep our PPE clean. So that was just a huge boost to our department to have something like that. Over the last 12 months, all the things that happened, so we had the flood, the pandemic, we built a new fire station, we started the cadet program, we implemented a cloud-based software program, plus with Sandy Hoka leading the charge, we've got over about $77,000 in grants so far, including Firehouse Subs and Firehouse Sub actually nationally just gave us the money for a side-by-side. So we use it out on state land and out on the riverbed and things like that. So we'll be putting that unit in service over the next 6 months.
What drove you to become the fire chief here in Sanford, Jerome Township?
I joined the department shortly after I turned 18. My dad was fire chief at the time, and he was fire chief for 50 years. And so I just kind of grew up with it. So I can actually claim ignorance. I didn't know any better. But after my dad retired being chief, we had another chief, he retired, and the job came back open again. Myself and a few other people put in for it. But the reason I did it, I was already involved. In May of 2016, I became the chair of building this station. So I was already involved in that. I saw a lot of needs within the department, not just this structure, but we've changed so many things since then. And I saw the need for some of that. So my plan is to be fire chief for 3 years. Just to make these things happen, and I can go off and enjoy my retirement. But so a lot of things have changed to us culturally during this time too. We dealt with the pandemic, we dealt with the flood, but in the same first 12 months of being chief, we implemented a cadet program. We started out with 2 cadets, and like I said earlier, one of those have already transitioned into the full-time role now. We implemented a cloud-based software system for controlling our business. Instead of 3-ring binders and separate spreadsheets for everything, now we control our reporting, our maintenance, our inventories, HR issues, all that are in one program. So we've made a number of changes. Still a couple other things I'd like to accomplish. The renovation of our Station 2 is getting pretty rough over the years. I want to take care of some of the things, and I'm retired, so I had the time to do it and different things like that. That was the main driver. It really didn't have anything to do with the fact my dad was chief or anything else like that. It was just that I had the skill sets, I believe the time to make some changes happen, and I felt needed to happen. So that was my driving force becoming chief.
Well, I just want to take the time to thank you for your service and for being a first responder and saving so many lives. I'm sure there will be tons of other people in the comments thanking you as well. So thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate all you've done with video and the history and everything that's going on. Right now we take it for granted, but 10, 20 years from now it's going to mean a lot to people. So thank you.
Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below. As always, I just want to give a massive thanks to the people who support me on Patreon. Never underestimate the value of your contribution to keeping this channel going. Thank you.